I was watching some classics. Your Name, Weathering with You. I watched Drive My Car again for I think probably the 4th, 5th time now. For one of the more mainstream movies. Oh no, I forgot to mention Crimes of the Future. Crimes of the Future is a really strange movie, and I didn't give it a rating because I don't really know what to make of what I watched. It's a David Cronenberg movie, and it's just about in the far future where they've basically abolished pain, and surgery is kind of like a fetish that people do, and it's Viggo Mortensen and Lea Seydoux are the main characters, and they're performers or something, and Lea Seydoux will perform these surgeries live on Viggo Mortensen because he's his body grows new organs, organs that have never been seen, but in that reality, new organs or evolution has been banned, so they had to get rid of it. And it looked, the production design's really interesting because all these machines look like organic machinery, and Viggo's character, I forgot the character's name, so I'm just gonna call him Viggo. The guy that plays Aragorn in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
He's his character is always in constant pain. And there's this really funny scene where there's this machine that feeds him or something, and it's just a chair with this thing in front of him with a spoon, but it looks really funny because he's struggling to eat. And you just have to watch it. It looks really, really funny, and it looks like he's struggling so much to eat food because he's just in constant pain.
I've seen a lot of stills of this movie on Instagram, because I follow a lot of horror podcasters and horror people. Everything looks so fleshy and and gooey.
It's definitely a movie you shouldn't watch while you're tired, though, because there's a lot of stuff that happens, and I think that's why I didn't give it a rating, because I want to watch it, because I think a lot flew over my head, and I think that happens a lot with some Cronenberg movies, Videodrome was another strange body horror-esque movie. The Fly, it was much easier to watch, more straightforward. But Crimes of the Future, I liked it, I enjoyed it, I just didn't get it, which is just one more. The Black Phone. Black Phone was a sick movie. I liked this movie a lot more than I was going to. It's about a kid who gets kidnapped by Ethan Hawke, who's a child killer.
That's not a spoiler, is it?
No, it's in the trailer. He gets kidnapped, and basically there's a black phone on the wall where the main character is, and he gets phone calls from previous victims, and they basically help him out to try to escape. And it's the story. I like the story a lot. It's not the most groundbreaking story, but it's very it hits its pacing really well. It's
got a very short story, Stephen King short story vibe to it, Twilight Zone-y kind of feel.
I think if you liked it, you'd really like it. If you liked Stranger Things, you'd probably. I haven't seen season 3 and 4, but I feel like it's that kind of story of kids told really well in a high school, not like Resident Evil, which is would probably have released by the time we release this. But it's a very mature story, but it featuring children, and it's something that I feel like it's a movie made for teens who want something a bit more mature, but it's got it still has that kind of coming of age, whimsical feel to it. It's Ethan Hawke does a great job as playing the killer, and there's definitely some creepy scenes to it. If you want a lot of horror, there's not too much horror here.
I'm imagining it's probably similar to to Derrickson and Hawke's other project, Sinister.
Sinister relies more on like traditional jump scares and horror.
Okay.
Sinister was okay. I liked it, but I didn't like it that much. But I think The Black Phone, it was just a very enjoyable film. Like, it was just the performances are good. I liked the interactions with the Black Phone and the kids, the previous victims. I like the kind of the grittiness of like childhood that they show. It's not as violent as It, but it's not like pulling any punches either. Like, when there's like bullying in this movie and they're not holding back on some of the kids fighting each other, like, it can get kind of brutal. But yeah, it was a great movie. I really like this movie. Like, it's very, very easy to watch. And probably a good gateway if you want to watch more horror, because I didn't think it was that scary.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff. I mean, there's heaps that I watch, but I won't go through all of them because we'd be here all day.
Yeah, I'll just give one more shout out before we get into a movie we both watched. Bob's Burgers, the movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't mean you gave it a pretty high rating. It's your highest rated movie.
I love Bob's Burgers, to be honest. Like, have you ever watched Bob's Burgers?
I've watched the first maybe 5 seasons of it. It's very, very easy to watch.
So easy to watch.
It's so easy to watch.
It's so charming and like, it's not overly hilarious, right? Like, I probably laugh more when I'm watching something like South Park. But yeah, it's just really
it's pretty light. It's a very light watch.
Family friendly, like.
I think it's edgy enough for it to like appeal, but it's not a South Park, as you said, or a Rick and Morty.
It's like The Simpsons when The Simpsons was good. Yeah. So like, it's just something like it's got a lot of rewatchability as well. And the movie is just an extension, I think, of the TV series. Like, I guess what I like about this movie is that, like how in the South Park movie and in the Simpsons movie, like, they use the secondary characters so much because it feels like they've already exhausted all the material from their primary characters.
Yeah.
But that's not the case with Bob's Burgers. Like, the Bob's Burgers movie is just about the family, and each family member kind of has their own arc within the movie. But they're all kind of like interconnected into like a singular story, a singular plot. So like, obviously there are secondary characters in it, but it's not like, it doesn't feel like they're depending on them. It doesn't feel like they've run out of stuff to do with the mains. And I just really like that. I think, the strength of this show is how much you grow to like the family. Some more than others, but like, it also feels like a movie, I guess. Like, the story kind of feels like 3 episodes stitched together, but like, you can kind of feel the quality of the animation is a bit better, and it's not like anything major either. Like, there aren't any huge like musical numbers with like shit happening everywhere. It's more like in the subtle like movements of the characters. There's like a little bit of extra animation when somebody's like eating or something like that, for example. So it still feels like you're watching a movie, but it also at the same time feels like you're watching an episode of Bob's Burgers. So if you enjoy Bob's Burgers, you enjoy the movie, and you probably have already watched it because it's on Disney Plus for free. And if you haven't watched Bob's Burgers, you treat yourself and check it out because it's so fun. It's a fun show to watch.
Yeah, I like watching Bob's Burgers. I haven't watched it for a little while, but I remember a few years back I'd just like smash it. And it was something that I watched to help me like fall asleep to. I just like to have a playlist. Yeah,
it's very soothing television.
Comfort television. We've watched a couple of films that we've seen together.
Yeah, well, we didn't watch them together, but we watched them separately. So, do you want to talk about Malignant or The Grey Man?
Um,
I feel like
let's
we
just
can't talk
that.
about Malignant much without spoiling it, and I don't
Oh,
really
that's
want
very
to
true.
spoil it, right?
Yeah, Malignant. We can talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I guess we won't spoil it, but
No, we won't
yeah,
spoil
we'll
it.
talk about how we felt about the movie.
But yeah, it's a very fun movie. Watch it with your friends. Watch it with a few beers.
Yeah, it's not overly scary.
No,
as well.
I don't think it was that scary.
So if you
Yeah.
want to watch it alone, I think you'd probably find to watch it alone as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched this movie the first time because it was lockdown, and it came out like on HBO Max or something. And then it's a shame because I would have loved to have seen this on a big screen. I think this would have been a really great cinema movie because it's like I think it's been described as like one of those movies you'd find in like a horror section, a horror movie you'd find like deep buried in like a bargain bin, but it has like a huge budget.
Yeah.
The story doesn't make a lot of sense, but you forego it because
It feels intentional. It feels like the director's just having fun with it, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just something that was on his mind and he just wanted to put it out there. And yeah, it's like a super fun movie to watch, I thought.
It's very in line with Basket Case, which is a pretty interesting 80s horror movie about like this guy who carries his basket with him and inside is like this even telling that is kind of a spoiler. So I'll stop there. But it's like Basket Case and Reanimator in terms of its violence, maybe.
Pretty mixed reception to this film.
Yeah, I think a lot of
critics and
people,
audience.
a lot of people probably weren't prepared for this kind. This is a movie made for horror fans.
It's not The Conjuring. If you
It's
go
not The
in expecting The
Conjuring,
Conjuring, you might be disappointed.
Not like it, yeah. James Wan said that himself. He said, "Don't go in expecting The Conjuring," because like it kind of feels like The Conjuring, and then it doesn't. It's a really good. I wanted to talk about this last year. I forgot to mention it as a special mentions because I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
Very easy to watch. It's also a pretty good gateway into horror if you can stomach a little bit of gore. It's not. That's. I think that's all I can say without like.
Yeah, I think so. It's a fun idea, and it translates into a fun movie. I think the very competent director in James Wan.
James Wan's great. Yeah.
And the scares are there. So it's not like it's not like you'll be disappointed if you're looking for
there's
scares.
definitely horror stuff. Yeah. I know you and I are a bit desensitized now. I think I noticed that with we won't talk too much about this movie, but you and I did a watch party of Incantation.
Yeah, it might have come out by the time this comes out.
That had its fair share of scares.
Oh, and, yes, that movie is way scarier than Malignant.
Yeah, for sure. That's also a really fun movie to watch with your friends. But we'll save that for that episode.
Sure. Shall we talk about The Grey Man?
Yeah.
So this is pretty highly anticipated film.
So
Netflix release.
I was really excited to see this movie. I think I've mentioned how much I love rival actor versus actor, and Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans are one of the biggest actors of this generation.
They're not your favorite actors, though, right?
I like Ryan Gosling a fair bit, actually. He's in a lot of really good movies. Chris Evans, he's all right. I don't dislike him. I think he's a good actor, and I think he's a nice dude. I haven't really seen him, but
sure,
yeah,
probably.
I was pretty excited to see it because it looked like it'd be a fairly tense thriller, like spy thriller-esque kind of thing.
I was very wary because I saw a lot of similarities between this and another Netflix movie starring two powerhouse actors and one girl.
And it's different tones, but it has a very similar feel because there's a lot of this globe trotting, traveling around different locations. I was wary of it because at the end of the trailer, I saw PG-13, which it's rated MA here. I was pretty disappointed by this movie, and it was a shame because I really wanted to like this movie because like I liked the concept a lot, and I just wanted to see like these two actors go at it. Chris Evans, they both do an okay job. I mean, Chris Evans does a good job as like a camp villain.
I feel like Ryan Gosling is just being Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Which he does in every movie. But yeah, Captain America is doing something different, I guess. I feel like he wants to do like different stuff, with his Knives Out performance as well. And he's got a little mustache, which is fun.
I don't know, this movie, I like the action sequences towards the later half of the movie. The tram action scene was pretty fun. And there's like all these cops who just can't shoot him for some reason when they're trying to shoot him, but they just can't, and he's like strapped.
Like fucking international assassins with rocket launchers and shit. None of them can hit him.
None of them can hit Ryan Gosling.
He's handcuffed to a bench and hiding behind it.
I like Ana de Armas as well. She's up and coming. She was pretty good in Bond. She's playing Marilyn Monroe later in the year for Blonde, which looks really good. I want to watch that movie. But yeah, I don't know, I felt the pacing was like really quick, but also like a little bit boring. I didn't think it was very interesting. I think this movie was very average. I didn't really like the coloring. Felt like, as we were talking about Red Notice, it felt like I was watching the same coloring as Red Notice, but in a slightly more serious movie. But it's not that much more serious because it needed, as you say, it needed a little bit more teeth. Like there's a scene where he gets stabbed through the hand, which looks painful. And there's a couple of violent moments, but I feel like they didn't commit, and it just, I don't know, it just wasn't very. It wasn't a very interesting movie. Like it's very forgettable, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. Like we both gave it 3 stars, right?
I think did I give it 3 stars? Yeah.
I think I am more towards the positive end of the 3 stars. I think I wasn't disappointed by it because I had lower expectations of it. I went in fully expecting another Red Notice situation. But yeah, I think it was a lot more fun to watch than Red Notice.
Red Notice is
I'm not a fan of the shaky cam direction, like action direction. I would have preferred longer takes and less shake, but that said,
they do that with all the PG-13 stuff.
I guess to mask some of the violence.
Violence.
That said, the violence still had enough impact for me. The stunts were like pretty extreme, like pretty large scale stuff, which was good. But yeah, it didn't feel like it had the same level of care as something like a Mission Impossible or anything that would have come out in cinemas. You know what I mean? It still feels like a very Netflix production.
I feel like it needed a few more drafts, in its development.
I mean, the plot is like, it's like Swiss cheese. It's full of holes, but
it moves at a pace, but it's like, I don't know, it's not that interesting. Like, it's funny you mentioned, like, you said that I gave it 3 stars. Like, I didn't even remember I gave it. Like, I'm actually, the more I think about it, the more I'm in line to give it 2.5 stars, because it's I really enjoyed the last few action scenes. And I enjoyed the final fight. I'm going to give a bit of a spoiler warning. between there's obviously a fight between Evans and Ryan Gosling.
Okay,
like
yeah.
that's just gonna happen. But I'm gonna give it a bit of a spoiler warning here. So anyone who wants to watch Grey Man,
Which is on Netflix
watching.
for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know when Gosling and Evans are fighting each other, and then like Gosling has like Evans in the chokehold, and it seems like he's won. And then Bugs comes in and shoots Chris Evans.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's bad writing when you take the victory of the hero away. Because it's kind of like, you know, that kind of like Deus Ex Machina.
It's not a subversion of expectation, Tavi.
No, it's just like I don't know why they did that. Like because you want to watch him. Like first of all, like there should have been much more of a build up. Of,
he had
rivalry.
He had won at that point, right? So,
yeah, but you want to see him pull through with his victory, you know. So it's just like
in that movie Jack Reacher where Tom Cruise beats up Jai Courtney.
Yeah, but like I don't know. It just didn't. It just kind of robbed it a bit, and it's just like, you know, I want to see these two big actors pull through with their drama.
What about the other fight where Ana de Armas fights that other assassin guy, and then like for no real reason either, because that guy had already like he had no reason to fight her, but they just fought for
yeah. He's just like, these people aren't honorable. I don't want to fight you.
Yeah, even though I've been fighting you for the past 2 minutes.
I think it might be Hollywood saying we don't want a woman to lose, but we don't want a person of color to lose either.
No, and they probably want to keep him for the sequel, right?
Nah. I think it's just Hollywood being a bit of pussies in their storytelling.
Yeah, I think you're right. It could have used a second part. I feel like there were too many characters in this movie. Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's Billy Bob Thornton's in there.
Yeah, there were two separate like.
From Revolutions was in there.
There were two separate like older mentors that sacrificed themselves by blowing themselves up with grenades. Like you don't need two of them. Pick one. Just pick one and keep them in there. pick one like shady CIA person as well. You don't need two shady CIA people.
Yeah. I think it was just a bit of a lesser Bourne, like a lot.
It was very Bourne. It was
stuff,
it didn't take itself as seriously as Bourne, so it was a bit more.
I think it should have taken itself a bit more seriously. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I feel like they were going for comic book vibes.
Yeah, I don't know. It was too light of a watch, I think. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed by it. But you know, I'll probably watch a Grey Man 2. At least it's better than Red Notice.
I would watch Grey Man 2 over Red Notice 2.
Not even touching that. Yeah, I'll probably just watch it for the sake of putting a worst of list together. Like, you know,
but yeah,
there are two more movies that I want to mention. One that you watched not at the same time as this month, but worth mentioning. But I'm not sure. You didn't watch Jurassic World Dominion, did you?
I haven't.
Oh yeah, it's shit.
Okay.
So don't bother.
I've seen reviews. It sounds like mediocre.
Yeah, not even going to touch into that then. But Top Gun Maverick was a really fun movie as well.
Yeah, I watched that in June, I think, but towards the end of June. Yeah, it's good. It was like a lot better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Or maybe not a lot better, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going
Yeah,
to.
that's a cinema movie because the sound design of all the jet engines and stuff, like as you know, Tom Cruise or Maverick, you know, blasting off. But like, it's pretty refreshing to see like a movie with that new recruit aspect of it, because I know you hate that.
I do hate that.
But like they actually worked it pretty well, and it's good to see.
Crucially, the characters are quite likable.
Yeah,
and also it's kind of like so. Tom Cruise, I guess spoiler warning for Top Gun Maverick, but Tom Cruise is Maverick. He gets called upon to train these new recruits so he can pass the baton to these new recruits. But then he quickly takes the baton back when they realize he's the only person that can do this particular mission. So there is like a certain level of training the new recruits, but at the end of the day,
then they realize that they can't do it. I think it's kind of paying homage to the original character, and like it's a movie that I think it's the second or highest grossing movie of this year. It's got $1 billion. And you don't really see a lot of movies like this anymore. Just kind of like there's something like very 80s about it.
Yeah.
Like something
the soundtrack
pretty straightforward. The soundtrack.
There's a lot of nostalgia, I guess, even for us who don't really have a connection to Top Gun, the original. But you still feel like, I guess, the emotion on Tom Cruise's end, like making this, I guess they call it Lego sequels these days, making this Lego sequel after such a long time.
It was like 38 years?
Yeah.
Something like that. They treated Val Kilmer's character with a lot of dignity as well.
Not so really much Meg Ryan's character.
Just like, nah, she's just dead.
Dead off screen.
Died off screen.
Everybody from the original movie is dead except for the two you actually care about.
There's I liked how there were the new recruits who are they're millennials like us. There's no references to Twitter, there's no references to Instagram or Elon Musk or anything like that. It's just like they only do a selfie once when they're getting like punished.
It feels like a movie that could exist in any time period.
It's timeless.
Because
that's great.
Even the enemies that they fight at the end, they're like these like faceless
Russians, right?
No, you can't even tell that they're Russian. Like the terrain that they're flying through is like indistinguishable. It could be Syria, it could be like Russia. You don't know. Like the planes that they fly are all black. The masks that they wear are like covering the whole face, so you can't see any skin tone. They don't speak at all, so you get no language from them. So I just find it, and like they always refer to them as the enemy. So you don't know like who this enemy is, but it's almost dystopian in a way. But until you actually see the enemy,
it's a pretty interesting writing. Like because I watched the first Top Gun like a week before watching Maverick because I hadn't actually seen the original Top Gun before watching Maverick.
Do they say who the enemy is in Top Gun?
No, I don't think. Not what I remember.
I mean, it's fine. Like, I just find it interesting.
But it's pretty malleable. So considering this day and age, they're probably Russian.
Whoever you want it to be, Tavi. That's the beauty of it. If you want it to be Russia, it can be Russia, Tavi, if you're so inclined. But I like the practical nature of the filming of this movie as well. Like they had so the planes that they use. Obviously the actors aren't allowed to fly these particular planes. Not even Tom Cruise is allowed to fly these planes, even though he definitely wanted to. But the only people that are allowed to fly are like the armed forces. I think. But they had the actors in the plane with like a military person flying them. So when they were up there, the actors kind of had to film themselves, right? So they had to like, get themselves camera ready. They had to like fix up their makeup if they needed to, or whatever. Like basically it was just them and a selfie stick and a camera. Which is pretty cool to actually have them up in the air though. Like it's not like a matter of putting CGI planes on a green screen. They
didn't ruin it with too much CGI. Like some of the Mission Impossible movies where Tom Cruise had actually done the stunts on his own, they like overwhelmed it with CGI and it made it look like that he didn't do the stunts. But with this movie, he's like, he's doing it and like it looks good. And
like them trying to recite their lines as their like face is being like melted by G-forces. It's pretty good. It's pretty impressive, and you feel it as well, like in the performances that they do give. Yeah, pretty cool
Yeah,
stuff.
good movie. Good movie. But yeah, I think that might end it for this
For now,
month.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, guys, what do you think about these films? Did we miss anything last month that we should watch? Yeah, get in touch with us. You can contact us at twoasianblokes@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation. You can follow us on Instagram at twoasianblokes if you want to see what we're up to. Or you can follow us on Letterboxd. I am at Dan with H, and Tavi is at TaviToncom. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, hopefully you check out some of these movies and don't check out the ones that are shit.
Nah, check them out if you want, because you might like them.
Nah, we watch them for your sake. You don't have to waste your time.
Yeah,
You don't have to waste your time watching mediocre.
you're welcome.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
We're signing off.
Yeah, take care.
See ya.
Bye.